Verse by verse meditations. Genesis chapter 9. Genesis chapter 9 and verse 23. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. A Christian reformer coined a phrase that we still use 500 years later. There, but for the grace of God, goes John Bradford. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 12. Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed, lest he fall. I don't really need a lot of reminding that I live inside a vessel of clay. In Job chapter 33 and verse 6, behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I also am formed out of the clay. Clay, or mud, is one of the weakest physical materials that one could choose to build a structure. In 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Our brains have a tendency to focus on negative energy. So when I tell people that I'm smarter than I look, they are often assuming that it means that I look dumb. Very often, we love to point out that the women are the weaker vessel. So from a logical standpoint, many assume that if the woman is weaker, that would mean that the man is strong. Why do we never assume that in order to have a weaker, there must be a weak? In 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 10, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong. No one has to tell me that I am weak. From the rising of the sun until the going down of the same, I can feel it for myself. But I thank God for godly brothers and sisters that do not treat me with condemnation whenever I mess up. They still find a way to treat me with godly love that helps to encourage me to get up whenever I fall. The younger son laughed and mocked his father in his hour of shame. The older sons showed compassion on a father that was human, just like they were. James chapter 5 and verse 20. Let him know that he which converted the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death, and shall hide a multitude of sins. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 8. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. And then we have Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 12. Hatred stirred up strifes, but love covereth all sins.